Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jadisola, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my payday routine, how I actually budget my monthly salary. I know a lot of videos like this, you see people come up with spreadsheets about how they do their budget. I don't use spreadsheets, believe it or not, but I do have a system that I use in order to manage my salary as soon as it comes in. So, bulk of my income comes from my salary, and I do have a fixed salary date. Unless the salary date falls on a weekend or on a bank holiday, then the date shifts. It's usually in my favor as it comes before the usual salary date. And usually the salary comes in the middle of the night, and it's such a beautiful thing to wake up in the morning to money in your bank account. Woo! I really love that part. So once it's the morning of my payday, the first thing I do is to check my income account. Now, I did say income account because I also have an expense account. I'm checking this to make sure that the amount paid into my account is actually the amount that I'm expecting, because we don't want surprises. Yeah. I'll tell you about the surprise I had at the beginning of the new tax year this year in another video. But anyways, once I check and the amount I'm expecting is actually the amount that was paid, the next thing I check is my expense account balance. Usually what I would do is any balance on my expense account, I would move it to my savings account. But before I do that, I do spend a lot of time reflecting on what I think the coming month is going to be like. So I'll think through upcoming financial commitments that are not usually in my monthly plan, big occasions, events, travels that may be coming up. So for example, August is my birthday month, and in that month I know that I usually would spend a lot more than I would normally do, because I would, splurge on myself by buying myself a birthday gift, do a little bit of shopping, may do some traveling, may host guests. So I know that I'm going to spend a lot more in that month. So I will think about that and mentally just allocate some sort of budget for myself. So that would then determine if I'm going to need the balance in my expense account, or I can safely move it to my savings account and then plan for the new month. The next thing I do is to think through recurring expenses that I can potentially cancel. And this is usually in form of like subscriptions. Currently, I know that I pay for Netflix, for Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus. And lately I've been thinking about, canceling at least one of the subscriptions, because I rarely use them, and it's just right now looking like I'm wasting money just, paying for it every month. The last thing I do is to check my credit card balance. Now, I do have a credit card that I'm using to build my credit score while I'm also saving to buy a house. If you have not seen the video on how I'm saving to buy a house, I'm going to link it in the description box below. So anyways, I do try to spend on this account regularly so that I continue to build my credit history. So I check the balance and then make a mental note of it. So now you may be wondering, why have I been making all these mental notes? It is because bulk of my expenses actually go out via direct debit. So what I'm trying to do is to note the amount of money that I need to put in my expense account so that all my direct debits go through when it's time. So for the purpose of this video, I won't be disclosing my income, but I'm going to be sharing a lot more of my monthly expenses. So I have categorized my monthly expenses into 4 categories. The first being fixed and essential expense. So fixed expenses, because these amounts don't change on a monthly basis and they're actually critical for me to survive. So my rent, my utility bill, my council tax, and my phone bills are fixed. So remember that I said that what I'm trying to do is note the amount that I need to leave in my expense account so that when it's time for direct debits to take out all these bills that I just mentioned, my account is sufficiently funded. So what I simply do is to add each of these fixed expense up and then know that I need to have this amount of money unfailingly in my account. So my rent is £1,695 and my utility bill is £110 on a monthly basis. I do pay £73 for my phone and SIM contract. I just upgraded recently. And the last essential bill is my council tax, which is £121. So I know that I need to leave £1,999 in my expense account for my fixed and essential expenses. So the next is my variable but essential expenses. Now, variable because the amount is not fixed, but essential in the sense that if I don't pay this bill, I'm going to be impacted negatively. And usually what I have in here is debt and credit cards. So remember that I said I will check my credit card balance once I get paid to know what the balance is. So what I do is to make sure that I pay my full balance on my credit card on a monthly basis so that I don't pay any interest. And it's also worthy to know that this particular bill goes out of my account via direct debit as well. So I need to add this amount to the amount that I need to leave in my account. So for this month, my credit card balance is £157. So if I add that to the amount of money that I was initially going to leave, that's already £2,156. So this amount of money compulsorily needs to be in my account after payday so that direct debits can take all these essential expenses out of my account. So once my fixed and variable expenses are taken care of, the next set of expense I'm going to be looking at is my savings and investment. So for now, I'm only concentrating on saving up to buy a property. And for this month, I'm going to add £2,000 to that savings account. So once that £2,000 is out of my account, I leave the rest of the money in my expense account. Now, this is going to take care of my groceries, my transportation, entertainment, any other thing that I need to do, shopping, what have you, and anything that is left on payday the next month, I do move it to my savings account. So that's how I try to plan myself. So the reason why I do my budget this way and I don't necessarily mark specific amounts towards feeding, grocery, transportation, entertainment, or any other thing that I have to spend on a monthly basis is so that I don't deprive myself. I know myself enough and I know that I can be disciplined and I won't unnecessarily spend money that I don't need to spend. If I don't need to do bulk grocery shopping because I still have a lot of bulk things that I bought in the last month, I don't necessarily have to do that. I cook a lot in the house, but once in a while, I may just want to eat out or order in. So I'm still able to do that within budget. I know the number of times that I go to the office on a monthly basis, so I'm not worried about not having enough money in my account for every train ride. I also know my lifestyle is very much conservative, so I know that I probably would still have some money left over at the end of the month, even without budgeting the remaining amount. Another thing that helps me is because I maintain a separate expense account and my bank actually groups those expenses for me. So at a glance, I can also just look at how much I spend on a particular line item on a monthly basis and know whether or not I'm doing okay or I've actually gone overboard on certain things. And these are some of the things that I do that just helps me to stay focused. I know everyone budgets their income very differently. I'd like to hear how you do your own budgeting. Do you make sure that every amount of money is accounted for? Is it as simple as mine, or do you use a whole spreadsheet to do your budgeting? Do you plan your expenses with your spouse? Or if you're solo like me, I'd like to know how you actually do your budgeting. I've come to the end of this video. If you like content like this, please make sure you subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you next time. Bye.